Good day everyone, this is Yuglo Fashion and you're welcome to my channel. So today we'll be learning how to make this peplum top. The upper part is wrap. It's a wrap dress but it has peplum and band. So if you enjoy this tutorial, if you gain anything from this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel, like my video. If you have any question, let's meet in the comment section.
For this wrap top, I'm making use of my paper stay, then my lining and this Ankara fabric. So the first part that I'll cut is the flake, and I don't want to waste the fabric, so I'm going to cut it on the lining. I'll first cut all the bodies on the lining and the flake, then now transfer it back on the fabric. For this tutorial, the measurement I'll be using is the shoulder to nipple point is 11.5, shoulder to under bust is 15, shoulder to half length is 17, and the blouse length of my client is 25. The circumference of the bust is 42.5, circumference of the under bust is 37, circumference of the half length is 40, then the nipple to nipple is 8, and the shoulder is 18. So to start with, I'll first I'll first measure my peplum, because the wrap top has peplum as well. So I'll first measure my peplum, because that's the one that will consume more of the fabric. So for my peplum, I'm going to make use of the half length and the blouse measurement. So the blouse measurement is 25 and the half length is 17. So I will subtract the blouse length from the I'll subtract the half length from the blouse length, which is 25 minus 17. That will give me 8 inches. Then I will add 1 inch to it to make 9 inches. So now, I've folded my lining into two. Then the joint part, I'll fold it this way, because I'm cutting 360-degree flake. So what I will now do is I'll measure the 8 inches and the 9 inches that I need for the peplum. So from this point, I'm not going to make use of this edge, so let me roll it out. So now I'm starting from here, so I need 9 inches from here to here. So this is where my 9 inches ends. So I'll come back to this edge, then measure the circumference I have here. I have 6.5 here, so I'll go around with the 6.5. The total circumference I need for the peplum is the waist measurement, the half length measurement rather, and the half length measurement here is 40. So I will add zipper allowance of 2 inches to it, so making 42. So the circumference here, since this is the part that is going to be joined to the half length, so the circumference here should be 42. So I have 6.5, so I'm going around with that 6.5. So if I have more than that, I will have to readjust my lining, because it must not be more than 42. So I want to measure what I have here. Now I have 45. So let me just readjust it a bit. So now I'll come back to this point, then measure it. Now I have 6 inches. I'll go around with the 6 inches, just to ensure that I have that 42 inches that I need. Now I have my 42, so I'm good to go. The next thing I'll do now is to measure since this peplum, so I'll measure this down part to give me that curve shape, just like this side. So the circumference I have here is 15 inches, so I'm going around with that 15 inches as well. So now I'll cut it out.
Done cutting the peplum, I will notch. I have two sides now, so I will notch one side, then open up the other side. I told you it's 360-degree peplum, so at the end of the day I must have one circle. The total circumference of a circle is 360, so this is a 360 peplum. So after that, I'll cut my upper bodies. So for the front bodies, the upper bodies, for the front side, I'll measure the nipple point. The nipple point is 11.5, so I'll first measure the nipple point. That's 11.5. That thing, I'm using this side for the shoulder. So 11.5. The under bust is 15, and the half length is 17. So I'll measure 17 and add half for my seam allowance. So here I'll measure my shoulder circumference. That's 18. 18 divided by 2 will give 9 inches. So from this 9 inches, let me first rule out all this. Now, from this shoulder, I'll come down by 7 inches, then connect it back to the 9 inches. Then from there, I'll measure 4.5. Then here, I'll come in by 1 inch. Like I do say, after sewing, I will still reshape my armhole. So now the circumference of the bust is 42.5. So 42.5 divided by 4, because our body part is usually divided by 4. So 42.5 divided by 4 will give 10.6. Then plus seam allowance of 2 inches. The half length, the under bust is 37. 37 divided by 4. 37, that's 9.2. Then plus 2-inch seam allowance. And the half length is 40. Divided by 4 of that will give 10 inches plus 2-inch seam allowance. So I'll just connect the line. Then whatever I have here, I'll transfer it up. It's 13. Then plus 1 inch. So now I'll cut it out. For the back side of the wrap top, I will place my front bodies on the lining. Then you can see I folded it into 2. So I'll give allowance for it. I'll give zipper allowance of 2 inches for the back. 2 inches. Then I'll just trace out every measurement I have for the front bodies. So this is where it's going to end. Let me chalk out my 2 inches allowance.
So I will open up this joint part. It's not necessary that you use the joint parts for your allowance. You may not place it like this. Now, now for the neckline, I'm not going to remove any of it. I want to cut the two together. So for the neckline, I'm making use of 3 inches. So I'll come down by 1 inch because I'm cutting both front and back together. I'll come down by 1 inch. Then at the shoulder, I'll measure 1 inch here. Then slant it to the neckline. So I will notch the zipper allowance. Now I will start my work on the front bodies. So since it's going to be wrap top, I'm just going to slant this to this edge. So this depends on how wide the neckline is going to be. But for my client, it's not going to be too down. It's not going to be too wide rather. So but I still want this side to be low. So I'll come down by 5 inch. Then give it a curve shape like so. Now connect it to this side. Use of now, I'm going to cut it out. This is the reason why I first use my lining so I don't waste my client's fabric. So now I'm cutting another type of this. So I've notched the middle. Sorry, I didn't show that part. I notched the middle. So when I'm sewing, the middle must align with each other. So after that, I'm going to cut another one of this. I'm done cutting the two. So I will notch the middle of this as well. Now I want to place them on each other. So I ensure that the notch parts align. So the next thing now is to transfer this to my Ankara fabric and cut everything out. And I'll cut them too on my paper stay. Now I've added my paper stay to my lining and I've done the same to my Ankara fabric. So I'm going to stitch the two together. So I'm starting from the neckline. So after stitching, I ironed it. So now for the back side, I've also gummed my paper stitch to my lining and also for the Ankara fabric as well. So I will join the neckline, then the zipper allowance as well. Join the two together. Now after stitching the neckline and the sides of the two, so I'm going to place them on each other and ensure that the notch parts align, like I said earlier. So I will use my pin to secure the two together so it doesn't fall off. Now I'll stitch the down part together. After lapping the two on each other, I'm going to fix band on this front side. So what I will do is I'm making use of 3 inches band, but on this cloth I'm making use of 2.5, but I added half to the band because of the stitches I'm going to have here. So now I'll measure 2.5 here. I'll measure 2.5 here, then I'll connect the two together. Now I'm stitching the band on the line. So I'm done stitching this. I want to place it back. Then I'll iron it and stitch the two together. That's for the band. Now I've stitched the two. You can see the traces here. So the next thing is to fix the back side on the front bodice. This is the back. So I'm going to stitch out my measurements, but first of all, I'll first sew the neckline. I need the shoulder rather. So I'll turn the shoulder like this. Then stitch the two together. Join both front and back of the upper bodies. So now I want to fix in my peplum. I've used my interface to join the Ankara fabric. No, now I want to join the flay, the peplum to the bodies. After fixing the sleeve, this is the output. So I later added belt to it. So thank you very much for watching.